the more difficult the time is, the more grace that God gives to us in the midst of the battle. But even if the struggle is greater than maybe what we're ready for, we ultimately know who wins the fight.
And St. Paul says, brothers and sisters, if this is not real, this is pointless. Go home now. Before lunch, sorry, no food. Just go home, get away from the Catholic Church. St. Paul says our faith is pointless if he's not risen from the dead. Heaven is the goal of life. And Father Wells would ask us, are we living for heaven? Are we ready to go at any time as Catholics? Are we living in that state of grace? Don't be afraid to stand up for the Church's teachings on life and marriage, as hard as it is. Buddy Father Wells did that. He was fearless. And if you're worried about losing the reputation or people looking at you funny or mocking you, well, then you're imitating Jesus Christ.
The Church is looking for you to sort of rise up, but not to be afraid to rise up, and not to be afraid to be authentically Catholic in your whole identity.
I want to emphasize that it's not ideology that we are driven by, not high-minded ideals, or just a different set of principles. But to paraphrase St. Paul, it is Christ who impels us. One who lays down his life in love, who's willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice for Christ. It's what a martyr is. And what society needs today is not more fighting and squabbling, but more witnesses or martyrs for Jesus Christ.
We're bound for the kingdom. Don't forget that. Because when we know that for certain, we're bound for the kingdom, that's when we can move through these points of adversity, these difficulties, these problems, these situations with great confidence. There's only one priest. It wasn't Tom Wells, it's not me. It's Jesus Christ. He is the priest. And we need to think, as Scripture says in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, we need to think with the mind of Jesus, the mind of Christ. That's how we form our thoughts. That's how we form our decisions. That's how we crystallize our next step in the walk of faith.
As Catholics, our faith influences and forms everything we do. Boom, already right there in the face of a secularist. It influences and forms everything we do, not just in private, but in public. But as Catholics, we have fallen many times into a secularist mentality. Archbishop Chaput spoke to Notre Dame students recently, and he said to the students at Notre Dame, the only thing that matters is to be a saint.
Why do you follow the cross out into the world? Because you're following the cross of Jesus Christ. You're not following yourself or the bulletin you picked up that you're not going to read. Like, follow the cross. Follow the cross into the world. It's more than symbolic.